Good evening and welcome to ALBI Update. Today we'll take a deep dive into two highly anticipated titles straight from ALBI's own workshop. The tile-laying zen-like experience from Uwe Rosenberg titled Garden Lake, and especially a detailed look at the strategic rally-themed game Dirt and Dust by Petr Čáslava. So, let's go to Japan! Garden Lake is a brand new game by Uwe Rosenberg, known for hits like Agricola, Caverna and Patchwork. The game was developed and illustrated by Jindřich Pavlásek. Like many of Rosenberg's popular titles, this is a tile-laying game featuring deviously shaped pieces that you place on your player board. Designed for 1 to 4 players, aged 8 and up, a typical game takes no more than 30 minutes. So, how does Garden Lake work? Each player has their own board that gradually turns into an idyllic garden pond filled with water lilies, decorations and koi fishes. The tiles you'll be placing are arranged in a crescent shape around your board. On your turn, you must place at least one tile on an unoccupied spot on your board. But there's a catch. You can only choose from the tiles on the edges of your own crescent shape, plus the edge tile from each neighboring player, giving you usually 4 options. Not a lot, but not too few either. Tiles come in tricky shapes, and just when one fits perfectly, you'll often find it's aligned in the least helpful way. That's because you're not just filling up your board, you're also trying to create connected lily areas and large schools of koi fishes. However, the koi and lilies are always on opposite sides of each tile. To mix things up further, covering special board spaces grants you bonus tiles in the shape of letter L or small squares, which fit almost anywhere. If you fill an entire row or column, you earn straight tiles, which are also very handy. With a good turn, you might place not just 1, but 2, 3 or even 4 tiles. To add even more variety, you can switch up your bonus tile card or introduce optional decorations. If you surround designated decoration spots, they'll double the points for adjacent koi and lilies. And that's basically all the rules. They fit on just 8 pages with big pictures. But Garden Lake doesn't need more. The real brain burner isn't when you're reading the rules trying to comprehend what the game is about. The real brain burner here is to play it perfectly. And trust me, it takes a lot of work to play it perfectly. Garden Lake is going to be pre-released this weekend at BerlinCon in Germany, and the full premiere will occur at Essenspiel in October. We first announced Dirt and Dust back in November and presented it in more detail at the April Made by ALBI showcase. Now let's take a real deep dive into the game. Dirt and Dust is designed by Kutná Hora co-author Petr Čáslava and features stunning artwork by Jakub Policer, known for his work on Seti and Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's a game for 1 to 4 players, takes about 90 minutes and is suitable for ages 14+. Dirt and Dust is set in the world of rally racing. But rally doesn't really begin at the starting line. It's a team sport where pre-race preparations of the vehicle, driver and co-driver can matter even more than steering skills. The game tries to capture all this. While your car is racing down the track, you're not really competing against other players on the course. As in real rally racing, the cars don't meet on the track. You're racing against the limits of your own vehicle and against the track itself. At its core, Dirt and Dust is a deck-building game with 2 key resources: wrenches, representing your team readiness, and traction. Wrenches let you buy new cards, while traction is used to fulfill stage cards' requirements and score points. Both have additional uses, but these are primary. The game is played simultaneously, though not in real time, so there is no rush, but also not so much downtime. Each round begins with players rolling their dice, normally 3 per player, though this can be temporarily increased. Dice roll determines which parts of your team board activates, and hopefully you already have some useful cards there. If not, better play some. But don't worry, you can modify dice results using wrenches. The goal? Earning more wrenches and traction to buy better cards and ultimately score points. Card purchases and stage mapping to earn points are free actions. You don't need to activate them via cards. Be aware that most cards have 2 effects. One applies almost every time, and the second one depends on your speed. If you're going fast, so your car is in the top row on your board, you get one effect. If slow, so if you're in the bottom row, you get another one. Going slow often earns traction more easily, while going fast gains you more wrenches, but there are plenty of other interesting effects that may occur. Speed also affects how your car moves and how much it breaks down. To score points, you spend traction to the map stages by placing your navigator token on one of the revealed stage cards. You only get the points later during stage resolution, but other effects like movement happen right away. And here's the twist. Fast drivers will bounce from ditch to ditch. The top row has half as many spaces as the bottom row. But when the stage card is resolved, your score is based on your car's current position, and faster driving usually means more points, so it might be worth to taking this risk. Learning when to speed or when to slow down is one of the crucial skills in Dirt and Dust that will separate the best drivers from the ones that should probably spend more time on the training circuit. Damage is a frequent part of a game, and sometimes you'll even damage your car on purpose. Voluntarily taking a damage die grants you 2 bonus traction points, but once you have a damage die, you roll it each round, usually increasing your damage meter. Reaching the critical point means something breaks, permanently. This can make things tougher for you, like making more difficult to steer your cars and other nasty effects. Every game of Dirt and Dust plays differently. Each of the 4 available drivers has unique starting cards. You also have 9 card types available for purchase, plus an additional 9 that can be swapped in and combined with the first set. Then there are the tracks. There are 5 tracks plus a tutorial one, each inspired by a real rally race. Not just in theme, but in unique gameplay elements. You might even recognize some turns. each track feels distinct and requires different strategies. And if you can't find anyone to play with, don't worry. Like in classic rally video games, you can race against the Ghost Driver in solo mode. There's even more we could talk about. Popularity, which earns bonus points and an extra die, how cars behave on your team board, how to remove damage dice, how to increase solo difficulty, but we'll save some of that for the upcoming video tutorial we're working on with Braňo from Nitrania channel. But the most important takeaway, Dirt and Dust releases this weekend at Gen Con. European release is set for late September, but you can of course see the game on big premiere at Essen Spiel in October. And if the today's info wasn't enough for you, I encourage you to take a look on our free-part developer diary here on our YouTube channel, where you can see what are the ideas behind Dirt and Dust. If you like Garden Lake or if you like Dirt and Dust, we would be thrilled if you follow them on Board Game Geek or give them thumbs up in Essen Spiel preview. That would be really nice. That's all for today's ALBI update. But don't worry, more news of our other upcoming titles is just around the corner. So stay tuned and see you soon.